October the 9th. This is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. While it's still legal. Still legal today, I believe. Check on that daily. Trump is actively coming after people now. Left and right. Hello, what's up? He just indicted Letitia James. If you don't know who that is, she's the Attorney General of the state of New York. She's the one who got the $300 million penalty for fraud against him, convicted him of 34 felony counts of fraud in front of a jury in a trial that lasted 4 months with real facts and real information and not Trump's lies. And he was convicted on 34 felony counts. He's a felon. He's still a felon, I believe, to this day. That's one of the things I said in the very beginning of all this, that we needed to change after this is over. We need to amend the Constitution to say that a person who's convicted of a felony cannot be the President of the United States. Which I don't know why that is, because if you have a felony, they won't hire you at fucking Walmart. You know. You can't get a factory job, or a job. That's always been a problem for people that have felony convictions. It's hard for them to get a job. But somehow you can be president of the United States. There's no restrictions on that job, is there? Like there are at other jobs. All you gotta do is get enough dumb fucks to vote for you. I don't know why we haven't ever addressed that issue. Like, you'd think after Nixon, somebody would have brought it up. Like, hey, maybe, perhaps, we should not want felonious criminals to be our leaders. But here we are. Anyway, he indicted her, but this is also legally flimsy. It's just like the Comey indictment. Nobody in the Department of Justice would sign these indictments. They're all signed by this one chick. The real attorney of Virginia, U.S. attorney in the Commonwealth of Virginia, declined to bring these charges because he said there was no evidence. And he was fired. And he put in his insurance lawyer, who's never prosecuted a case. This is all real. I'm not making this up. So they said maybe she's been in front of a grand jury twice with these 2 indictments in her life. And the first indictment against Comey, I don't know if you knew this, they tried to bring more charges than were indicted, but the grand jury declined to indict on the other charges. And in the grand jury, you don't need like that much evidence. It's just enough to say something might have happened, and you could go and they could indict. And also, they didn't get all the grand juries, only 14 of them. They haven't released the count today, but it's the same thing. Loyalists, of course, Trumpers who are in the grand jury, they're going to go with whatever this chick says because it's a cult. I've never seen anything like it. You always read about Nazi Germany and all that, and you go, how does this happen? And then to be like living in the middle of how it happened, like this is how it happened. When everybody decides that one man is like a god and and he's going to solve all your problems, this one dude. But Trump hasn't solved any problems. Trump just creates more problems. All the time. The economy's not growing, it's shrinking. We're not getting richer, we're getting it's a circular, it's a fraud, it's a Ponzi scheme. The tariff. It's like, they haven't bringing us tariff money. It's our money. We paid the tariff. So it's just a big circle. The money goes out and it comes back in and it goes, hey, look at that. It's not an economy. And the rest of the world is slowly moving on without us. They're going to make their deals with other countries. The world is going to change. And we are going to be much worse off for it. It's not going to be easy to fix these problems because no one's going to trust us ever again. Yes, Julie, apparently you can be a pedo as well. Like, and they'll cover it up for you. It's like the government is shut down. And the Congress is not working on it because when Mike Johnson shows up, he has to swear in that chick who's the 218th vote on Thomas Massey's petition to release the Epstein files. And then they'll all be forced to vote on the floor whether they want to release these files. No Republican wants to be in that position. Yeah, that's good to say. I was about to bring that up, Julia. Julia says, how about that RFK Jr. saying circumcision doubles the rates of autism? And then he said, this is no shit, he said that he saw a TikTok video of a woman who was pregnant and was just swallowing Tylenol. And he says, with the baby in her placenta. He doesn't even know the difference. He doesn't know how a child is born. And he's scared of hell. This is where we're at. It's like a bad movie, but we're living in it. This guy's talking about babies and placentas and shit, and he's the head of Health Human Services. The Surgeon General that they picked, she didn't graduate medical school. I'm not shitting you. She dropped out. Became an influencer. This is an internet podcasting reality TV show government. Yes, John. They're fucking stupid. And Nicole Wallace was talking about this today. They in their like urge, the purge, to purge anyone who's not loyal to Donald Trump, right? They also purged all these national security apparatuses, replacing them with incompetent nutlickers, which makes them as well less safe. Because they're being protected by fucking morons that they put in place. You can't make this shit up, like how stupid it is. This country is fucking stupid. Like, we voted for this. We had the choice. Now, am I saying that Kamala Harris is the greatest thing ever? No, because I'm not in a cult. But she's an educated woman with an accomplished career person. She's a lawyer and a prosecutor. And she had been vice president and had been a senator. She knew about world affairs. She had relationships with these people. But we chose this clown. Incompetent clown who also wants to be a dictator. But it's the stupidest dictatorship ever. You see, they tried to make a Kristi Noem tried to go to Portland. I gotta say this right now. I've been to Portland one time to do comedy, and it was fun. But I never realized how great Portland is. These people are out there with frog costumes and shit, and blasting like techno music. Kristi Noem went there to try to make one of her tough guy videos that she makes, and wound up just being a picture of her on a roof with all these people in, I said, frog costumes and Pokemons and shit down on the ground. They're trying to convince you that these are dangerous terrorists. It's so bad. Like, it's like I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It's so bad that if you wrote a script for this, just this, as a movie, and you took it to someone, and they would be like, "This is No one's gonna please. This is way over the line, even for like a ridiculous comedy. But no, this is our lives. There's several people watching, so tell me what you think. I'm, I'm, I'm almost at a loss for thoughts after the circumcision thing. I was like, there's no way. Every day you think that this cannot sink further. And every day. That thing yesterday, did you see that thing yesterday? The anti-Antifa roundtable discussion. Right? Where they, Christy Noem tried to say Antifa is just as sophisticated as MS-13 or the Trinidad or Nicaragua or whatever the fuck, and drug cartels. And it's a flash bomb, bro. Those people in Portland, there's a coordination. Like I said, it's not like they had a plan. They're gonna break out to all these people, like that movie I saw the other night. One battle after another. I saw that the other night, and it's definitely a take on what's going on in the country right now. But yeah, she did that, Julia. She said they arrested the Antifa founder's girlfriend. Was she 110? She used to date Winston Churchill. It's so absurd. You can. It's like I said, you couldn't make out with him. Anyway, I didn't get to the point. I don't remember this guy's name, but he's a neo-Nazi journalist. I think his name is like John Plasibic or some shit. It's spelled really weird. It's definitely like Central European-y, Russian-y. His name is like I said, like John Plasibic or something. He's a neo-Nazi journalist who now has a press pass. Anyway, he was talking about the people who had opposed the Nazi Party and the Weimar Republic in Germany, and he was saying that they were the bad guys. I'm not even shitting you. Yes, Pasovic. He was saying that the people that were fighting the Nazi Party in the Weimar Republic were the bad people. And we're supposed to be like, we can't call you fucking Nazis. They're fucking Nazis, bro. I'm not to break this to you. I've been saying this for years and years and years, and people said I was crazy. You're looking at it now. It's not only, but like I said, not only are they Nazis, they're also extremely fucking stupid and incompetent. Now, he's came after James Comey, and he's come after Letitia James, right? But he has a list of people that he wants to go after. Well, the people. Here's the other part. I don't know if you know this. It was like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. He posted on Truth Social how he wanted all these people to be prosecuted. Well, apparently, that was supposed to be a private message that he accidentally posted public on Truth Social, which of course went worldwide within 5 seconds. And he couldn't take it back. Now all these prosecutions they're not going anywhere because he confessed online that he was directing these prosecutions. It's selective prosecution. It's not allowed. They're like I said, he wants to be a dictator, but he's just so fucking stupid. I mean, there a lot of things that they've done to get into this position. I mean, they have some smart people. Like so Stephen Miller is the real, he's the real brains behind the operation. But even he's not that smart. He's just smarter than Trump. None of them are. None of them are geniuses. They name me one genius they got. Maybe that guy Vought, because he wrote the Project 2025, and he's smart enough to stay out of the. You don't see him blabbing around on TV that much. I mean, every now and then he comes out, but he stays behind the curtain for the most part. So he's probably the smartest one, maybe, I don't know. But the people they have running shit, all the faces of everything, they're fucking morons. I'm sorry. Cash Patel. So you think he knows what do you feel safe with Cash Patel running the FBI, protecting you from terrorist attacks and things? You feel safe? Half the FBI is now running around fucking dragging Mexicans away. So they say already drug cases, sex trafficking cases, all that stuff is going out the window because everybody's on immigration enforcement. They fucking, this guy who's a U.S. citizen had a tow yard, right, in California. I believe it's California. And they saw him inside, and you can hear him say, "Look, it's a Mexican." And so they go in. The guy had his passport, had his ID, and everything. And they tackle him to the ground. They arrest him anyway. And then they tried to tell some story that he attacked them or something. I don't know. Not knowing that it's a tow yard. Of course there's cameras. They fit the whole thing on film. And again, their story's wrong. They lie. He didn't attack them. They came onto his property. He's a U.S. citizen. I told you this was going to happen. He's a U.S. citizen. They came onto his property without a warrant, tackled him to the ground, and detained him, arrested him, took him away. Of course, they had to let him go later, but he's a U.S. citizen. You are not safe anymore. Especially people like me who are doing this. It's not like I'm talking to shitloads of people, but if I was, I said it's probably more dangerous to me. I said it before because I'm not talking to shitloads of people. And then somebody decides, well, maybe this guy one day could get big if we just shut him up now. It's like it just could, not just me, anybody around this country. Put yourself out there. And I said, you think it's going to end with the Mexicans? Once they start arresting U.S. citizens, they're violating your rights. And nobody does anything about it. You're giving away your freedom. Every day. Every day it gets farther away from you. You're not going to get it back. That's why I was talking about this list. So he has a list, right? After he accidentally posted his private message. That should tell you right there. This guy's the president of the United States. He can't operate a fucking messenger. You think he's qualified to run the world? You gotta be fucking kidding me. I mean, I would say that if it wasn't true. I mean, he's the leader of the free world. I can't send a message. This is a person who's on his phone almost every minute he's awake when he's not talking on a camera. Right? Trump's tweeting constantly, frantically tweeting all the time on his truth. So he has thousands and thousands of hours of phone experience. And he's still accidentally sent his most private of messages to the True Social page. Yes, Julius, Kamala said he had an enemies list because he did, and he didn't make any excuses about it either. He said that he did. I think people just laugh. They think he's not going to do these things. They've been doing this since the beginning. Like, this guy wants to be Hitler. It's like, you're crazy. It's like that. It wasn't 6 months into his first term. But I haven't heard of. I don't know if it's just going on secretly now, but I haven't heard of like them building any more like alligator Alcatrazes and things. After the court ordered them to close it down, they started acting like they were going to build a bunch of them in other states, but I haven't heard of that. Now, if somebody can tell me that that's happening, or I'd look into it later. I just thought of it just now, but that seems to have gone away. Anyway, so he has an enemies list, right? And next on the list is Adam Schiff, who's a senator. Now, I was saying earlier, or I was thinking earlier when I heard this, like, there was a time when if the president came after a senator, all the senators would have banded together and been like, hey, and you can't come out. An attack on one of us is an attack on everybody. And they would assert their power. But those days are gone. Although, I don't know if you saw this, but they're starting to lose Marge, which I thought would never happen. Marge is like, it's their fault. And my constituents are going to get their health care raised. And you're like, oh, Marge getting ballsy. But that means that her constituents are calling her office and bitching. And that means that the mega base is not happy. And the more that Trump loses the mega base, the more Trump's going to get squirrely. He's going to start throwing around, just more and more distractions. Like that's what these indictments are, distractions, so that you don't talk about, why they won't release Epstein file. But here's the thing about that. Mike Johnson can't keep the government closed forever. That woman won the election. She's going to get sworn in. They're going to get the 218 signatures. The theory is that they're keeping it closed and they're strong-arming, the few Republicans who signed on to it, and they're trying to get one of them to pull their name off of it. That's the theory under the surface. But the point being, though, he can't keep the government closed forever. He can't not swear in this woman forever. Eventually, it's going to happen. He's just prolonging the inevitable. Because Thomas Massey will not quit. He's like the Terminator. He absolutely will not stop until those files are released. And I love it. I'm going to help him. He's the only Republican who hasn't completely capitulated to Donald Trump. And I don't know why more of them don't see that and see that it is possible. That's what I don't get. That they're tying their futures to this guy who's theoretically only going to be there for 3 more years. And he'll be gone. So, what happens to you? It seems like at some point they have to start to try to break from Donald Trump, especially as he becomes more and more unpopular. He's not getting more popular. If he starts losing the mega base, Trump's already so unpopular. If he starts losing some of his mega base, he could get down to 30% or some shit. Like historic basement lows of approval. I don't think if there's ever been a president that's been under like 40%. I don't know. I'd like to look that up. What's the lowest approval rating ever of a president? Because he's here we go. Harry S. Truman. Ooh. Ooh, I was wrong. It can get bad. Harry S. Truman recorded the lowest presidential job approval rating in Gallup's history with 22% in February of 1952. I don't think Trump will ever get 22%. Because there's at least 30% of a mega base who will never abandon him. You have to think, and this is true, that even after World War II and all the horrible things that happened, when it was over, there was still Germans who thought Hitler was great. Which is why there's still Nazis in Germany. You would think that everybody would go, man, that was bad. It's like, maybe we shouldn't do this again. Nope. There are people that were immediately like, we need to bring it back. And that's why I said there's no hope for us. That's what we're going through now. It's the same thing. These are the same kind of people. They want to enforce their will upon you. Violently if they have to. They want to control you. Basically. And that's their entire existence. I don't know what, like I said, I can't imagine being someone like Stephen Miller for even 1 second. Where he's just looking around. Ah! I hate everything. Julia says, did you see the Star Wars put out a post basically saying it's about to unravel, that Republicans are about to jump ship? Yeah, but people have been hoping that for a long time, man. There's a certain amount of like that's why it surprises me that Marge is coming out. Even when she was coming out, she made it a point. She was like, I blame Speaker Johnson and Thune. I don't blame the president. You know, because I'm telling you right now, like I said the other day, that judge's house that caught on fire the other day. That's what they're afraid of. Mega lunatics. They're out there, man. and all the people in the Congress and the senators, they know it. It could be your house next to catches on fire. You don't go along with it's a strong arm, you know. It's like mafia presidency. Really. But it's their fault. They let this guy take over their fucking party. They could have ended this. If they would have just impeached him one time. They all voted not to impeach, even after January 6th. You would think after January 6th, every single person in that building who could have been killed would have been like, fuck. It's like the first ever fucking, unanimous vote in the Senate and the House that this guy should never be the president ever again. They could have ended it right then. He would have never been eligible to run for office ever again if he would have been impeached. But they didn't do it because even then they're scared. I find that more plausible than to think that they have a file on every single person, and they got something on every single person. The threat of violence is much more universal and not so hard. You don't have to have 5,000 investigators fucking digging through. You just fucking wink and go, hey, if I, there's people I pardoned on January 6th. Yeah, they're out there and fought truth a couple times. You better come along with me. Or else these lunatics will be at your fucking house. I don't know if you know this, but there's lunatics all over the place. And they do all kinds of things. Like this pizza thing, right? They find judges they don't like. And they send pizzas to their house with like their addresses on them. And there was a judge whose son was killed by some mega lunatic who went there looking for the judge. And when her son opened the door, he shot the kid. Right? So what they do is they send pizzas to these judges' houses with this kid's name on it. It's a threat. This is how MAGA works. This is how fascism works. It's always the underneath the surface threat of violence. It's historically how it's always worked. That's what I mean. It's not even like a new playbook. We just keep doing the same shit over and over and over and over. There's people in this country giving away their freedom. Let's see, Julia says, I think during the first term they were afraid their sexual proclivities would be exposed. Now sexual demons become accepted in the mega world. So now they're afraid their houses will blow up. I just know this. I don't know what's in those files. But there's some shit there that they don't want you to see. I know that much. They wouldn't be going through all this trouble to try to, hide it, keep it secret. And the White House was asking, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse was asking Pam Bondi the other day about, some witness had said that there was pictures of Trump with half naked and naked young girls. And that Jeffrey Epstein had showed him these pictures and he had seen them himself. And he asked Pam Bondi if those pictures were in the files or if she knew anything about it. And instead of saying no, those pictures don't exist, she just attacked him and didn't really answer the question, which makes it seem even more like there's probably pictures in there somewhere, they don't want you to see. And why everybody seems to keep acting like it's inconceivable that Donald Trump would do horrible, perverted things after all the things he said, all the things he's done his entire life. Hey, the guy said he'd grab women by the pussy. Himself, he said it. He's like, oh, yeah, they let you do it too. Like, oh, this guy would never be a pervert. The pussy grabbing guy, It's unbelievable. And yeah, Julie, like Lindsey Graham is afraid we're going to find out he's gay. This guy kept saying that he was going to release Mike Johnson's Grindr profile so that the IP address could be matched up and you could prove that it was his Grindr profile. And that has yet to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's just some shit talking. I was hoping to God it was real. Mike Johnson has some weird, I know the whole story was like some weird adopted stepson that everybody said there's something weird about it, but I don't know, All these people are fucking weird if you ask me. I mean, it's obvious that that's when you know your country is broken, because you would think that protecting children from pedophiles would be something that we could all get down with. That we could all be like, yes, we need to protect children from people who would abuse them. Therefore, we need to get to the bottom of this systematic abuse that was going on with the rich people, and look at these files, and they say no. What do you mean no? See, that's why they're so afraid of the petition, because once Massey puts his in Ro Khanna, I got to give Ro Khanna, he's on it too. It's a bipartisan proposition that they have to vote. They force a floor vote. So now they have to go on the record and say that they oppose releasing these files that would get to the bottom of people who abuse children. And nobody wants to be on the record voting no on it. But also, if you vote yes, you're going to cross Trump. So it's what they call it, catch-22. Damned if you do and damned if you don't. I'm going to tell you this right now, though. If you vote no, you got to go back to your constituents and explain to them why they should vote for you again after you just voted to protect pedophiles. And that is what Mike Johnson's afraid of. And himself. He's got to vote too. Everybody got to put their name on it. Yes or no. So, you don't want the files to be released, really. But if you vote no, your people could turn against you. But if you vote yes, now you're crossing Trump. It's not good for any of them. It's a bad scene. Julia, yes, again, he's entertaining the idea of pardoning Maxwell. But that's what I'm saying, is the fact that he would even say he might pardon this woman and they won't release these files, and people are still not turned against this guy, is unbelievable to me. So that's the part where you're like, this is a cult. Like where this guy can do nothing to turn him against him. Why are they hiding these files? Why? I said that before, because a lot of rich and powerful people who are part of the machine that runs the world will be exposed. Here's something I didn't know. I can't remember who it is that was. It's been going after. It's the guy that Trump went after yesterday. That tried to. He tried to say that he'd been lying about his military service. I can't remember his name, but he's been trying to get these financial records for all the transactions that went through the Epstein accounts, because there's multiple flags for suspicious transactions. And that's another question. Why was that never looked into while Jeffrey Epstein was alive? No one's really asked that question. It's like, if the bank was flagging billions of dollars worth of transactions as suspicious, why was Treasury Department or somebody not looking into that? Through multiple administrations, I would imagine. So Democrats and Republicans. Democrats are not innocent in this whole Epstein thing. They didn't really try to that when the Republicans say that, like I always say, it's always a kernel of truth to what they say, because that's how they get away with saying it most of the time. Except for Trump now, he's totally untethered from all reality. He says shit all the time. That never happens. But most of the time, what they say has a kernel of truth at the bottom, and the truth is the Democrats really didn't try that hard to look into this Epstein thing. I guess the investigation, I don't know exactly when it started, the investigation against Epstein. So maybe the Democrats started the investigation. It just happened to end up when Trump was president. But I don't really know. And like I say all the time, I don't say things that I don't know are true. I'll look into it next time. On the next episode, I'll tell you if it's true or not. But I try to stick to facts on this show. The things that I know are true. But like I said, they didn't really look into it that much. I don't think. So I do believe that everyone's dirty in this situation, probably. But it is telling that all the Democrats are voting yes, on this thing, and most of the Republicans voting no on this petition to release the files, which tells me that, if you're in the files, would you be signing a petition to release the files? It's like, I'm pretty sure a lot of these Democrats aren't in the files. Now, there might be some Democrats from the past, because there's always been dirty people. The difference is, most of the time, if a Democrat's dirty, he goes to prison. Like the guy who just took the gold bars or whatever. Like, he's in prison. New Jersey Senator, what was his name? Bob Menendez. He's corrupt. He took gold bars and shit. And literally had a safe full of shit in his house. They sent him to prison where he belongs. That's what I'm saying is, we could have avoided all this. Trump is guilty of all these things. He is like, oh, they came after me, so now I'm going after them. They came after you because you were guilty. These charges he has on Comey and Letitia James and whatever he's going to do with Schiff, they're made up, basically. They're not. It's just like what they did to Obrego Garcia. When he came back and then they cooked up this human traffic case. Whatever happened to that? Have you been following this Garcia case? It's very interesting because his lawyers said that he was selectively, vindictively prosecuted because of all this stuff. He had made the Trump administration look bad, so they were coming down on they weren't going to leave him alone because yes, Al, they all need to go to prison. I agree, 100%. Most of them need to go to The Hague to be tried for international war crimes. Whoever participating in this blowing up people off the coast of Venezuela. And the Colombian president said today that the last boat they blew up was Colombian, not even Venezuela. No, that's what he said. I didn't really read that much into it. I just saw the quote that the president of Colombia came out and said. There was a Colombian boat that they blew up, not Venezuelan. Which makes you think, like, do they even know who they're blowing up? They just see boats and they go, hey, there's one. Get him. Either way, people are dying. It's murder. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's not. It's serious. They're killing people. And Democrats tried to pass a war power resolution to tell them, if you want to do this, you have to come to Congress, get permission. And what happened? All Republicans voted no. Well, not all of them, I must say, not all of them. But they couldn't get the 60 votes that no, I forget, it was the House vote. They couldn't get the votes that they needed, but they got some Republicans to vote with them. Which is a sign, like I said, it's going to crack eventually. Because he's going to become more and more unpopular. And like I said, he's only going to be there for 3 more years. So they're going to lose these midterm elections. That's what all this military in the street is for. He's going to try to populate all the places with the military that would vote against him. And then in the election, it's going to make it hard for people to vote or discourage people to vote, to try to keep the vote down because he has a better chance of winning. Like, that's what this is all about. He knows that if he loses control of the House and, and the Senate, that they'll start putting checks on his ass like they should be doing. You get rid of all the nutlickers. Trump is only can function if the nutlickers stay in line. You know, that's why I find so odd. It's like we only need like 5 or 6 of them to turn. You can't get 5 or 6 of them. You can't find them. They're all that terrified. I mean, I said, you see the judge's house catch on fire. I guess I'd be scared too. But like I said last episode, the time for being afraid is over. Like we are at a junction now where you want this country to be America, or are you going to let this guy, turn it into something else? He's already trying to turn it into something else, but they're too stupid to like I said. And it is hiring more and more dumbass people. These ICE agents that they have, they're not very smart. You can tell they're just meatheads that do what they're told. Those guys were standing on top of that facility, and the people were down there. Did you see that video? And then they shot the Episcopalian priest right in the head with a pepper ball bullet. But why he's just standing there praying? But they were up there. They showed him they were up there. They were just indiscriminately just shooting out. Like they're playing Call of Duty or something. And of course they're wearing masks, so you can't tell who they are. And that should be the first sign, don't you think? It's like, why are you wearing a mask, bro? These are all the people who made fun of you for wearing a mask during COVID, probably. Now they're wearing masks all of a sudden. It's like, why are you wearing a mask, bro? That's what's called the secret police. It's like they're too stupid to set up a real secret police. That's what I'm saying. Like, that takes like finesse and lots of experience to set up like a KGB, or something like a real stealth intelligence service. Like these people are far too stupid to fucking. That's why Trump is just using muscle. It's a mask muscle. It's like, we'll just hire a bunch of thugs and January 6ers that I pardoned and fucking put on a mask. That's why they got masks on, because you start seeing who these people are. To be like, hey, we're all on January 6th. I remember that guy. and that guy is like, whatever happened to Enrico Tarrio? He kind of dropped off the face of the earth, didn't he? Yes, Julia, they hide their faces because they know what they're doing is illegal. Yes. Yes, they do. And again, like, I don't know if you saw, when they shot that lady in Chicago or whatever, they gave a story. They said, oh, she rammed the car, she blocked us in, she blah, blah, blah. And then the body cam footage comes out, shows that's not what happened at all. So what does the right-wing machine do? They just accuse it of being like edited footage. No, what we say happened really happened, even though it was never on any of the film. It's edited footage of body cameras that we got from them. From them. Why would they edit out the incriminating part of their own film? That means they're not even good at making up these stories or bullshitting or gaslighting. We're at ridiculous amounts, like absurd, the sky is green type of shit. Robert Jr., or Brainworm Bobby, even said, when he said children circumcised and it increases the autism risk because they're given Tylenol and then he said, I swear to God, there's no proof. We're doing the studies to get the proof. It's like when J.D. Vance said, if I have to make up stories to get you to talk about it, then that's what I'm going to do. These people are dishonest to the core. The most soulless meat bags of shit that you've ever seen in your entire life. And most of them, that's why they're there where they are, because that's how you get that far, right? Is being ruthless as fuck. It's like these shows you watch. Like my mom likes to watch Big Brother, right? Or even other shows like Survivor, things like that, right? A lot of it is people lying to each other. It's dishonest shitbaggery. Like, that's what it is. But it's like that's the way, they go, oh, that's the way the game's played. Like, is it? Maybe that's the problem. In a culture where that's the way the game is played, where you lie and cheat and stab people in the back, to get what you want. Stab a guy in the back and step on his corpse to get to where you're trying to get. Maybe that's why the society seems soulless. Where you get people who laugh about alligator Alcatraz and things like that. Wear merch and shit. It's because it's just like The Bachelor, anything like that. All those shows, extremely popular, right? But what is it selling? Dishonesty, dishonest shitbaggery as a way of life. I mean, that's how I interpret it. They use each other. They lie to each other. It's unbelievable. I can't imagine living like that. I just can't. I mean, I guess I'm just not a good liar. Yeah, Clinton, he was a shitbaggery. I'm not. That's what I mean. It's like, if Bill Clinton's in Epstein file, good. Let it out. I said that 100 times. I don't care, because I'm not in the cult. I mean, Clinton was good for the economy or whatever, I mean, on paper. But was it good to have a president who was banging, interns in the fucking White House? Probably not. He wasn't smart enough to not get caught. That's always just the rumor, was that John F. Kennedy was banging all these chicks in the Oval Office. But the one thing about John F. Kennedy is he never got caught. It's all rumors. This motherfucker got caught. Nothing on her dress. And then she didn't wash it, which is weird in of itself. She took it home and hung it up in the closet. So that when they came back after they found it in the closet with the DNA on it, it was like, which means, like I said, she never washed it. She had it in a special plastic bag. Yes, this is my presidential cum dress. It's like, maybe she thought she'd sell it later, just like memorabilia. It's gonna be worth money someday. This is authentic presidential nut on this dress. It's like, spinning starts at $1 million. That's way better than one of Princess Diana's fucking dresses that she wore, turning off landmines or whatever the hell she was doing. It's worth way more than that. It's got President cum on it. Unwashed. I thought that, I said, maybe that's just me. Like, if I was a woman and I just fucked a guy and he came all over my dress, I think I would have went home and threw that dress in laundry to be washed. I think I would have bagged it up, put it in the closet. Which is apparently what she did, because I said they found his DNA still on the dress. This country's crazy. Always been crazy, but we're reaching new heights of crazy. And mix in a bunch of stupid. and it's a volatile combination. It's still weird to, like I said, to have to. You're watching all this happen, and that's the thing is, there's lots of people I believe who aren't watching what's happening. They're just going about their fucking business like anything else. That's why I was kind of surprised that they would shut down the government, because a government shutdown gets people's attention. They go, "Hey, man, no, Julie, listen, that's not what I'm saying." Julie says she didn't give a shit that Bill got a blowjob. Our economy had a surplus. Right, but like I said, it's probably not a good idea to have a guy like that being the president of the United States. Like, why can't you find a decent person? Why? Because, like I said, you got to be a shitbag to get up that high. That's the way the game is played. That's what I'm saying about those shows. Like it's true. That's why I could never live in the corporate world and all that shit, because that's what it is. You got to look at people in the face and pretend that like you're their friends, and then fuck them over whenever you can to advance yourself, while simultaneously licking the nuts of the guy ahead of you. It's like, it's too much to ask for me. I can't. I have too much dignity. And I see the system for what it is. I've always known. That's why I've never really participated in it. Like I said, any job I ever had was just to facilitate me to do whatever else I was doing, which had nothing to do with that. That's why I said that they steal your life from you, 8 hours a day. It's true. Sometimes more. Some people work 10, 12-hour days. That's your life. You gotta do that your whole life. Start adding that up. It's a significant portion of your life. It's 1/4 at least. Right? Well, maybe 1/3. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do math right now. It's like, wait, 4 is 32. It's like, it's 3. So it's 1/3 of your life that you've given away, basically, when they take from you. That's the price of living. It's like, really? Yep, that's the way it is. That's why it's good to find jobs that you like. That's it. Like when I was working with Alvin at T-Mobile, it didn't even feel like a job. He's like, you're at a concert or a sporting event. And, I mean, you're doing a job, but it's like, it's fun too, so it doesn't feel like work. It's not like when you go to work at, like I said, some corporate, like a grocery store, like where I am now. It just gets more and more stupid all the time. The people in the corporate office are incompetent. It's like it's just a microcosm of what this country has become. It's I don't know how it's even held together, because the incompetence on almost every level of the chain. That's because people only advance for being nutlickers, not for like talents anymore. Like it used to be, this guy's talented. He's good at his job, so we will move him up. And make your organization stronger. It's like, but now it's like, oh, this guy kisses ass better than this guy, even though this guy sucks at his job and this guy's pretty good at it. We want the nutlicker who mindlessly does whatever we tell him and doesn't question anything and grovels when asked. It's like, he's the guy that gets the promotion. And that's what's wrong with the country, if you ask me. Like, it started a long time ago, but it's just gotten worse and worse. Anyway, so keep an eye on stuff. I'm going to get off here and go watch the football game, because that's the only escape I get from this now. Football season's not nearly long enough. Yes, Albert, I was talking about. You know how it is. We all know how it is. I said, you gotta play the game. If you don't play the game, then hey, you just stay where you are. while people less talented and competent than you travel upward because they're attached to some guy's nuts. And I can't do that, so just not into it. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here. Watch. I love each and every one of you. There's a lot of people. John says if the government is shut down, the people are more desperate. There's less people to stop him. He can at least pretend to be a dictator. Yeah, but it also, like I said, it gets people's attention. People that normally wouldn't pay attention to politics and government, when the government shut down, they start to notice. Because they're like, hey, I'm not getting my check. Or I went to the DMV and it was closed. Or I went to, because you got to do business with them. And you're like, hey, everything's closed. Why is that? And then you start looking around and then they start reading. And they, oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm just saying, he's taking the danger of waking up people who are asleep. The more people that wake up, the worse it is for him. Because it's only getting worse. It's only going to continue to get worse. Because, like I said, everything that he does or says is a lie and an illusion. Because deep down inside, he's just a fraudster, a huckster, a used car salesman, a snake oil salesman. He's a con artist. That's all he's ever been. And he's gotten really good at it, apparently. But still, everything is propped up on an illusion. It's not real. That's why they have like alternative facts, and he tells you things that like he's like, Portland's on fire. They got all the whole city's built, boarded up. Right? And then they show Portland is like, it's ridiculous fantasy. It's not real. That's why the judge said, like, your entire presentation here is untethered to the facts. It's a reality TV show. He just says whatever he wants to say for shock value, and reality and truth be damned. He doesn't care as long as it's entertaining and it gets your attention, and he can pretend to flex his power that he may or may not have. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll be back on Saturday, and hopefully I can get Daniele on with me on Saturday. But like I said, I love each and every one of you, man. There's been a lot of viewers. I got up to double digits tonight. So the show is catching on. Like I said, the views are way up, and it wouldn't be happening if you hadn't been here the whole time. So please hit the like button and all that shit. It helps. And I'll be back Saturday, and hopefully I'll get Daniele, but I'm not promising. Hopefully. And watch the football game. Do something. Turn off the news for a minute. Enjoy your life. I'm Bruce Leonard. Thank you for watching.